realistically, what are some immediate actions that we can take to address some of those root causes?
Very first thing I like to do is ask them whether or not they've done an employee engagement survey recently, because it's amazing how many times that I will find things in that, and sometimes you have to read between the lines, etc. One of the problems that I do see out there, a lot of people do an employee engagement survey. They get the number, well, we're at 87% or whatever, and they declare victory and they walk away. And I always pull them back and go, okay, let's go through the employee engagement survey, because almost always I can find a rather long list of things that the employees are asking us to do. Okay. And one of my stories is a guy needed a screwdriver. He was in the production department. He needed a screwdriver. And I won't tell you the whole story because it goes too long. What ended up happening was I walked across the street to a hardware store. I bought a screwdriver for $1 that was on clearance, and I handed it to him. All of a sudden, his production numbers did this because of the problem that he had. And those are the kind of things, it's amazing how many times that there are things in that employee engagement survey that tells you a whole lot. The other thing that I would talk about is go to the best person in the department. Every department, and that's what one of the things that I do in my business is the CEO almost always, you walk into a department, that CEO can point at a guy and say, yeah, that's the best person in this department. Or you can go to the manager and he can point out, that's the guy I want to talk to. Why do you work here? Why are you hearing that people are leaving? What would you change if you could, if you ran the world, et cetera, et cetera. And those guys are, and I say guys in a gender neutral term.
And gals. I appreciate that. Thank you, Clark.
But I always use guys. I'm sorry. If I was from New Jersey, I'd say use guys. But you go to those people and they will sit there and they are an absolute wealth of information. But at the very same time, Kristen, you have to have trust. You have to have them in a position where they trust you enough to tell you. And one of the things that I always tell people, don't worry about who the source is. What are they saying? And is it true? And then work from there.
Fantastic. I worked for an amazing organization. We called that a 3x3. Every manager out there knew, and once a month we had to do a 3x3, and it was not a 3x3 from in and out. It was asking what are 3 things that you like? What are 3 things that you don't like? And it was incredibly powerful. We've got another minute here. What's one more immediate action we can do?
Again, I would go back to the value pathing, because again, that's one of the ways, again, you're trying to get them to look at the destination. The only way you're going to be able to do that is have a very clear path. I'm sure everybody here has gone on a hiking trip. Okay. Have you ever been on a hiking trip where the trail was clearly pointed out to you? You didn't get lost. You got to see the waterfall at the end. It's all good. Okay. But how many times have you been on a path where you thought you knew where you were going, and the next thing you knew, you couldn't even see the path? The path was all of a sudden disappears on you. You have no idea where you're going. That's what you want. You want that path where everybody can see it. It's well lighted. Another analogy would be, one day I walked out of someone's house. It had gotten dark and they hadn't turned the outside lights on. I could see where my car was. I didn't know how to get there. All of a sudden they flip on the outside lights. It lighted up the sidewalk directly to mine. That's what you want. You want that landing zone that they can see from far, far away.